I'm Dynamic Reactions with IGN, and this is the PlayStation Access Controller. This is PlayStation's first attempt at making a controller for disabled players with dexterity issues, and I got to spend some hands-on time with it at PlayStation HQ and talk to two of the people who helped make this controller. So, let's get into it. The Access Controller is part of a highly customizable kit with a base setup of 8 buttons in a circle with a button on a touchpad surface in the middle. Outside the circle is a joystick with adjustable length alongside the PlayStation and profile buttons. When I first sat down with the controller, I was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't huge. Its circular shape makes every part of the controller eye level and easy to look at, meaning you can turn it any way you're comfortable. It additionally can be mounted almost anywhere for ease of use, which is excellent for wheelchair trays or people who need the controller to be held up. It also has 4 expansion ports for additional switches and buttons. Logitech G is also planning to release a variety of buttons and switches alongside the Access Controller. The controller comes with 3 sets of button plate types. The first being a similar shape to the R2 and L2 buttons on the DualSense. The second is a longer version of the base plates vertically, giving you more surface area to push your buttons. And the third plate type is horizontally longer, covering 2 button spaces. The first button type gives you a higher surface area to place your button label, in which makes them a lot easier to see, while also giving you a soft, bouncy surface to hit multiple times if you need to, such as in combat in God of War. The other 2 button types are great for people who have limited hand dexterity or game using different parts of their bodies, giving them plenty of space to push their button of choice. The kit also comes with 3 joystick types that range from the basic DualSense joystick up to one that's similar to the arcade sticks from fight gamepads. I love removing the button plates. It reminds me of customizable keyboards just without the need for tools. You can easily replace each button with a light push at the bottom and pull, as each button is magnetized and snaps onto a new plate with ease. The controller also comes with rubber labels for each button that you can remove and adjust depending on your remapping preference. That same ease also extends to the joystick, which you can replace with a pull.
There was one big challenge when we started, which was the project just seemed daunting, given the wide spectrum of different disabilities and conditions, and the fact that they were dynamic, right? They can change over time. It just seemed so challenging to try to craft a controller that was broadly impactful for as many players as possible, and at the same time, address this just wide plethora of different possible conditions.
When you set up the Access Controller on the PS5, you can create up to 30 profiles with control schemes of your choice. Inside the profile, you'll be asked what orientation the controller is in. You can turn it in the direction that you like, and then map your buttons however you want. The profile button at the base of the joystick lets you switch between profiles, letting you set up multiple distinct control schemes, including joystick dead zones. 2 new features on this controller have never been on a PlayStation controller. In the profile section, you can assign 2 button functions to 1 button using the simultaneous button press function. This is great for combos or 2 button functions like aiming and shooting. You can also make a button toggleable by switching on the button toggle option. This allows any button you choose to always be held down with a press instead of a hold. This works great for racing games or games where a button must be constantly held for a character to sprint. The Access Controller can also be used alongside a regular DualSense or second Access Controller seamlessly. I gravitated towards a combination of using my Access Controller for combat and character movement and using my DualSense for camera movement. This also allows caregivers and friends to pick up the controller and help when needed, or simply join the fun. It's evident that Sony has put a lot of love and research into how the controller will be used across a wide spectrum of players.
From the very start, actually, we felt it was very important that we partner with experts, such as Mark, to help guide us into how we could productively try to understand what it was we needed to solve. A big challenge for the project actually was, for every feature we added, were we making progress? Were we helping certain types of disabilities, or were we regressing? Were we potentially hurting other types of players with other types of disabilities?
PlayStation made a massive statement with this unique controller by making it something that you can immediately work with out of the box, that is easy to change and grow right at your fingertips.
I don't think this project has changed my perspective of people with disabilities. What I think it's changed is my perspective of the industry, and that if the industry sets their mind to solving and contributing to the game accessibility movement, they can. The fact that your manager came down and said, this is what we're going to do, and the fact that you had an engineering team that was at your disposal to really move this along, the fact that you had a usability and a research team that let you get feedback, shows the tremendous commitment.
Accessibility isn't a one-size-fits-all solution, and not everything works well for everyone. Still, I believe that if we continue to include disabled people in conversations and really listen and take to heart what they have to say, the future of accessibility can continue to improve. If you have problems with hand dexterity or motor issues, I encourage you to try this controller and see if it works for you. The PlayStation Access controller releases on December 6th with a price point of $89.99 USD. Pre-orders are live for PlayStation Plus members right now. Until then, stay tuned for more coverage right here with IGN.